Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfic. This will be the continuation of Watch Your Heroes Fall. This will be Part 21, Chapter 24, entitled Phase 3, Step 3, Taken Out at the Knees. Izuku is walking back towards the bar. There is morning sunlight filtering through thick clouds that promise rain in a few hours, maybe snow if the temperature drops much more. It sure is chilly. Izuku can't see his breath in the air, but the night before he sure could. He's actually let his guard down quite a bit this morning. He's staring at the clouds as he walks, wondering if it'll rain or snow when he runs into someone, or someone runs into him. He looks down from the clouds, then lowers his gaze to a small child that's run right into his legs and fallen on her butt. Izuku stammers through 6 apologies before noticing that she seems like an awfully weird little kid. She can't be older than 5 or 6, but she's not crying even though she's been knocked fully over. Izuku, feeling a ghost of who he'd been over a month ago possess him in ways that prove he never really changed much, scrambles to help her up, stammering and patting her shoulders to clear the dust. Then he really gets a good look at her. She's small, and it's cold, but she's got no shoes. She's wearing what could be an oversized t-shirt or a child's dress, but either way, it doesn't fit her. She's covered in bandages. She's shivering. Izuku picks her up, holds her close with a protective arm. "Are you okay?" he asks. "I can help you." She buries her face in his neck and starts crying hard enough to soak the shoulder of Izuku's hoodie. She doesn't make a sound. "Hey, it's all right," Izuku shushes. "I've got you. You're all right. What's your name?" "Eri," says a man emerging from the same alleyway the girl must have come out of. "There you are. I was worried sick." His tone makes Izuku's skin crawl. Eri clings to Izuku tighter. When she hears the man's voice, Izuku clings back. "Thank you for finding my daughter," the man says. "My name is Chisaki. This is Eri." Izuku nods. He doesn't introduce himself. "She seems pretty scared," he says. "She's upset I wouldn't let her play outside," Chisaki says smoothly. "It's a tantrum." Izuku doesn't think Eri's trembling is from the cold. He shifts her in his arms, angling her away from Chisaki. Chisaki doesn't miss this, and Izuku doesn't care. "She seems pretty injured," Izuku says carefully. "Should I help you take her to a hospital?" Chisaki smiles thinly, cordially, but it's not the same thin, cordial smile that Izuku's mom used when she would talk to the teachers who wouldn't protect Izuku. It's slimier, paler. "She's been to the hospital," he lies, voice smooth like shark skin. "She's a very clumsy child." Izuku takes a step back from Chisaki, just as Chisaki takes a step forward. Izuku hefts Eri up a little higher. Chisaki and Izuku both know what game they're about to play. They're just waiting for someone else to start first. Izuku is tempted to use One for All to make an escape Chisaki won't see coming, but it would give away his identity, currently hidden by a hood and a cloth mask over his nose and mouth. If Chisaki knows who he is, he knows who he works with, and the plan goes to shit through this unknown variable, and Izuku's month of hellish work could crumble. Izuku doesn't know Chisaki, and he doesn't know what Chisaki is capable of. No One for All. But he's taking Eri back with him. He may not know everything about this girl or her situation, but he knows children don't cower from their caretakers, and he knows no kid is clumsy enough to be covered in this many bandages. "Come on now, Eri," Chisaki says. "Playtime is over. You wouldn't want anything bad to happen to your friends on your account, would you?" Eri stiffens. She pushes at Izuku and tries to be put down, but Izuku's much stronger, and he holds her fast and he says, "I'm stronger than I look." And he bolts down the street. He hears Chisaki's feet skid to give chase, and Izuku pumps his legs harder. He needs to get a phone call out. He needs to turn this game of tag into hide and seek. Izuku knows this part of the city well. He can only hope he knows it better than Chisaki. He scans alleyways and buildings, washed out gray with the cloudy 7 a.m. sun, and keeps running. He tries the least straightforward of all routes. He doubles back on himself. He runs in circles. He scales buildings. Chisaki is never far behind because he's taller, and he's not carrying a 6-year-old. Eri is shaking and crying in Izuku's arms, and Izuku is reminded of Koda, of Muscular. He tries, between panting breaths, to tell her she's going to be fine. Nobody is going to hurt her. But there's only so much breath in Izuku's body, and Eri doesn't seem to hear him anyway. Her horn starts to pulse where it's pressed into Izuku's shoulder. Shiseki is trying to be quiet as he chases, and that's Izuku's first clue that Shiseki has things to hide too. He doesn't want this to become a scene. Shiseki is not just some random civilian abusing his daughter. He has something bigger to hide. Izuku slides down into an oversized sewer drain on the side of the road and runs a ways in. If it starts raining, it'll be messy getting out, but he just needs to make a phone call. First, though, Eri. He sets her down, puts a hand on either of her shoulders. Eri, he says, still panting a little. You're being very strong. Can you keep being strong for me for 5 more minutes? She hiccups and tries to scrub tears out of her eyes. He's gonna kill you, she says. He's gonna take you apart and kill you. No, he's not, Izuku says. Bigger men than him have tried, and I'm still right here. He pulls down his mask so she can see him smile. I'm going to keep you safe, Eri, he says. I just gotta call my friends real quick. Can you keep being tough for 5 more minutes? Eri sniffles, nods, and clenches the hem of her dress into 2 tiny fists. Izuku ruffles her hair while he grabs his phone. He's trying to convince himself while it rings that he has faced worse odds than this. In all honesty, he has no idea if he's faced worse odds than this because he doesn't know the current odds. He has no clue who Shiseki is. Shiseki could just be some guy, sure, or he could have an army backing him. Izuku, Shoto mutters into the phone. Where are you? I was out for a walk. You don't go on walks, Shoto says. Try again. Okay, the point is I'm being chased by probably a homicidal maniac, and I'm hiding with his daughter in the sewer. There's a pause, and then... Huh? You heard me, Shoto. Can you get everyone to that one ramen place off of Yuki Street? What are you doing there in the first place? Hiding in a sewer with a 6-year-old. Now can you please get me some backup, love of my life? There are shuffling noises on the other end of the line, Shoto getting dressed by Izuku's guess. Outside the sewer drain, Izuku hears Chiseki's footsteps in pigeon-toed leather. He's walking now. Slow, methodical footsteps. He'll find them eventually. And the sewer is not exactly an optimum place to wait for an attack. Shoto, I'm gonna let you go. You just told me there's a homicidal maniac, and now you're going to leave me hanging. It's Shoto's specialty to say that entirely deadpan. Nobody else would probably be able to tell that Shoto is worried. I'll be fine. I just can't talk and run with a child. We're going to be there in under 5 minutes, Shoto says. You can't stay hidden. Izuku smiles at the phone. It's Stain all over again. I think you remember Stain with more fondness than you should, Shoto says. Izuku laughs. See you in a minute, he says, and hangs up. On the other end of the line, Shoto is pulling on his villain suit. He wouldn't bother with changing at all, except the suit is reinforced with carbon fiber, and he thinks it best to be prepared. Izuku hangs up, and Shoto drops his phone where he was holding it, with his ear against his shoulder, buttons his pants, and sprints from the room to stand in the hallway and scream. Izuku's trapped in a sewer with some homicidal maniac. Which gets a lot of very quick wake-ups. Jean can be heard waking up with an angry shout. Kurogiri opens his bedroom door, the fastest, on account of not needing to really sleep at all, and is next to Shoto in a second. Where? He asks. Neko Game Ramen Shop and Video Game Parlor on Yuki Street. Kurogiri opens a warp and assures Shoto that everyone else will join them momentarily. Shoto thanks him and steps through. Hitoshi slams his door open just as the warp closes. He's still in an oversized pajama shirt and underwear. What the fuck happened? He shouts. I'm not entirely sure, Kurogiri replies, but it might be wise of you to get ready for a fight. Hitoshi nods and retreats back to his room. Compress is already dressed and ready, and Magne has her magnet and pantsuit on and prepped. Kurogiri makes them a warp and they step through. Momo comes out next, ready to go and munching on a protein bar, and then Jean and Dabi are ready next, and then Hitoshi and Himiko, and finally, Shigaraki. All are warped through. Kurogiri takes a moment to breathe, and then he warps himself to the Neko Game Ramen Shop and Video Game Parlor. All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 24 of Watch Your Heroes Fall. Chapter 25 will be up next. Hope you all are still enjoying it as always. Thank you so much for listening.